Hey friends, coming to y'all today. Today is Saturday, September the 17th. We're going to talk about loyalty, honest, and supporting each other in businesses, especially black businesses. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to say this, and for those that know me may catch on to what I'm talking about. This past July, me and my son went to a local place. This is his first time ever getting a vehicle, so the child was very excited. And these guys, I've been knowing them since we were young. Stand-up guys, didn't think in about the situation. So, the car had some problems with it. And lo and behold, we called several times, and, even the text messages. And brought the car about 7, 8, 9 times back and forth to this facility. But the hurting part about it is that September, so you say what, he only had the car 2 months with all these problems. On the highway, car stopping on him could have caused him harm. But thank the Lord, God had him protected on several occasions. Traveled to different cities with this vehicle, same situation. And so, lo and behold, one evening, coming home from work, had water on the road. And lo and behold, coming home off the freeway, passed through the water, hadn't even got a quarter from the water, the car shuts off completely. Child panics. Call me on the phone. I called the seller of the phone, and they explained to me that wherever they was, the weather was bad too, or whatever to that sort. And I've always been more than courteous. But the most hurtful part about it is that, the child did get a big lump sum of money for that car. But the point still remains, the car was already in harm's way long before this happened. And, to flick it off like this last incident caused this car to do this is very hurtful. But on top of that part is, this child worked very hard, put a $3,000 down payment on his vehicle, paid it all the way down from the amount, and left the balance. Okay, insurance pays the car off. And, just knowing this person, I thought their heart would have been better than that. I understand, it's a business and everybody don't want to take a loss or whatever to that sort. But to just say that, oh, I just can't take that loss. He's going to put another down payment. Hold up. He hadn't even had that car 2 months. So that's where we are now with this situation in this small town. This is how we run game on people. It's very hurtful, especially coming from a black brother. And I'm a black sister. Like I say, it's business. It's not personal. But to take the joy from a 20-year-old child, first car, and only enjoy it for 2 months, and then you just turn it into a disaster. But you go to try to play it like it was his fault. No matter where a car came from, no matter if it came from an auction or not, the point still remains. Like they said, they would do everything possible they can to help this child. No, they're not. I understand everybody got to make money. But when you go to the point where you say, oh, I can't take that big loss, but I could give you another car. And then from the check that he gets from the insurance, oh, he could put another down payment. Make that make sense to me, y'all. I'm kind of lost on that. So when people come to me and tell me, oh, we got melanated kings and queens, bullshit. Yeah, we're kings and queens, but everybody don't ride on that royal throne according to what God's accordance is. And I made this podcast to go to show you, when you buy a used vehicle, before you sign your name on the dotted line, pay the extra money to take it to a mechanic. Matter of fact, take it to a dealership. Spend the extra money to put it on the machine. That way you know what the hell you're getting. And I'm quite sure this recording will probably go viral. Sellers may hear it. It's up to them if they honor and respect their people in the community. And it's just very hurtful, to have a, mother and a father bust their ass. Knowing that I am in a condition where I can go to work, but I really can't go to work because of my rare condition that I have. And I just don't really put myself in harm's way anymore. So I work for myself. I hustle my ass off, as well as me and my husband. I do, surveys. I do Pay for Your Save, Felicia/150. You can see me on Instagram. But it just really had to make me sit back to see how people in your community you can grow with just figure it's all about the money. Not about the satisfaction of the customer. And I'm not saying that everybody don't, have to eat, take care of their bills or whatever. But where is the common courtesy when you said that I'm going to take care of y'all, even though the car was as is? But then you turn around and have us under the impression that the car was fixed properly, but there were used parts taken off this car from another car and put on this car. So what difference does it make? Like they said, they were doing trial and error. Okay, well, last I checked, God don't do trial and error with people's lives. Especially when you already know firsthand that this car has lost acceleration, where the air conditioning and everything is cutting off on a major freeway coming out of Orange, Texas, which could have cost this 20-year-old man his life. Research says there are accidents because of malfunction of vehicles. And I understand, yes, this gentleman and the other salesman, they have children. So I looked at it like this, put my child in the place of your child. That could have been your child going through the same situation. But to take the money from the insurance and said that, the deal was made whole, and then turn around and try to get more money out of the child because you said that you think you were helping him? No, you're not helping him. You're just teaching him that everybody's loyalty and honesty, that their word is not their bond. So that's going to make that 20-year-old learn a lesson and not want to even deal with our people anymore. They'll move on to another ethnicity because of that fact. So I made this podcast just to show that just because people in your community doesn't really mean that they're for you. They can be for you, but against you at the same time. But at the end of the day, the universe, God, whomever never sleeps. So sometimes you got to be careful what water you're treading on other people. Because treading bad blood is not a good sign. And when I say treading bad blood, that means that you didn't do your all in 2 months' time that this child had this car. You say you did your all, but the car stayed at the shop sometime a weekend, 7 days. Car just sitting there. Yes, I understand the mechanic has a lot of other work to do, but this was a priority because this child could have lost his life. But I thank God that he has a mother and a father that had enough sense to say, son, just let the car go because it's not worth your life. You can't replace a human body once it's gone. So the moral to the story is, when you buy a used car, no matter how close you know the person, no matter how much you trust the person, before you sign on that dotted line, have that car taken to another mechanic somewhere else outside of that facility and put on a machine and let them do an eye test, because they are trained mechanics for that. And I just hope and pray that these sellers do hear this message and they do hear the cry out from this mother in the absence of this child or young man, that the only lesson you taught him is fuckery. And you may say that's coming across being harsh. No, it's not. We are staying every day, teach our young men to love one another. Teach our young men to have respect for one another. This lesson didn't teach this young man to love somebody. It taught him to be angry. It taught him to feel that he was taken advantage of. It taught him that things that was given to him was misrepresented. So, I'm going to end this live in saying, be careful how you do things. Because at the end of the day, if you can go to sleep, I can't go to sleep. And I know God can't go to sleep, especially when I'm calling on the Lord, I'm calling on the universe, I'm calling on those prayer warriors and everybody else to make this situation right. And if this seller or sellers find in their heart to come back with a better deal than what they're offering to try to take this child's money, we may consider it. If not, it is what it is. However the dice roll. So this is a live that I'm going to end in saying, always learn how to be humble. Because sometimes when you are humble, sometimes you can also be humble and not really be humble. And what I mean by that is, you can have this humble face, but deep down inside, you know you was wrong. You know you wronged this child. But I'm going to let God deal with you in the way that I can't never deal with you. And when God gives a wrath, it's a wrath that nobody can stop. You can pray all day and pray all night. But when you mess with one of God's angels and one of God's angel children, you got a long way and a hell of a fight to fight. And I'm going to leave it at that. Shout out to Dependable Angel Services. Hometown hero. Always trying to make things right and not wrong. Always try to work things out in such a way where no one gets hurt, no feelings get torn apart. But this time, this situation is a dagger in my back, my family's back, my son's back, and his community back. And from what I was told, this is not the first situation. This has happened with several people in this town. But a lot of them just push it aside and they don't stand up. Well, you met a melanated sister that's willing to stand up, willing to fight, willing to go the extra mile to see this situation through. This concludes my podcast. Dependable Angel Services. And always get your vehicle checked before you sign on the dotted line. Be blessed.